there was a wedding in Cana of Galilee. And the mother of Jesus was there. Now both Jesus and his disciples were invited to the wedding. And when they had ran out of wine, the mother of Jesus said to him, "They have no wine." Jesus said to her, "What does your concern have to do with me? My hour has not yet come." His mother said to the servants, listen to this, "Whatever he tells you to do, do it." Now there were 6 water pots of stone, according to the manner of purification of the Jews, containing 20 or 30 gallons apiece. Jesus said to them, "Fill the water pots with water." And they filled them up to the brim. And he said to them, "Draw some out now and take it to the master of the feast." They took it. And when the master of the feast had tasted the water that was made wine, the miraculous power of God, he did not know where it came from, but the servants who had drawn the water knew. The master of the feast called the bridegroom and said to him, "Every man at the beginning sets out the good wine, and when the guests have well drunk, then the inferior. You have kept the good until now." We've been talking about the amazing life. The title came from a message that I did because I was looking at this particular text and how John started his gospel off. And I talked about how John, at the beginning of his gospel, told who Jesus was. In the beginning was the Word was God, and the Word. So you didn't have you were not clueless to where Jesus came from. He identified where he came from. Then John shifted and began to talk about the baptism of Jesus. And when John the Baptist saw Jesus, he said, "Behold, the Lamb of God that takes away the sins of the world." So he identified who Jesus was, and then he proclaimed Jesus' purpose. Then he began to talk about how Jesus goes about recruiting his disciples. And then after he talks about how he recruits his disciples, we talked about how when Philip walked up to Nathanael, and Nathanael said, "Can anything good come out of Nazareth?" Yeah. And Philip said, "Come and see." And then it shifted and it began to talk about this story. There was a wedding. Mary was there. There was a shortage. Jesus and the disciples were there. Now, what I talked about last night is that they were not running out of wine. They had already ran out of wine. Okay. And then they said that Mary all of a sudden goes to Jesus and she said, "They didn't run out of wine." And Jesus says to her, "What does that have to do with me? My hour has not yet come." And Mary turns around and says the strangest thing: "Whatever he tells you to do, do it." Yeah. We talked about the amazing life, and that story seems like it sticks out like a sore thumb if you don't really study it properly. But what John is trying to show you is how to unlock the amazing life. Okay. He's trying to show you how to unlock the miracle working power of God. So the first night we talked about that God still works miracles. Yeah. Everybody said God still work miracles. I don't care what situation you're in, what you're going through, how difficult it looks, how impossible it may seem. You have to understand that God still works miracles. Yeah. The second thing we began to talk about was that God is not moved by your need. Everybody always get quiet when I say that because they always think that if I have a need, then that'll move God. But God is not moved by your need. No, Think about it for a moment. If God was moved by your need, we're talking about the omniscient one, the all-knowing one. If he was moved by your need, then you wouldn't have a need. Because once the need occurs, he'll just automatically move. But God does not move by your need, but what moves God? We talked about this on the second night. Faith is what moves God. Amen. So if faith moves God, then I need to know what is faith. Come on. If I understand that my need does not move God, I need to understand how can I get God to move. So I got to understand the dynamics of faith. So we talked about that. We said that faith is the substance of your hope. That sounds very premature on the surface, but you got to look at that because you have a whole lot of believers that are only just hoping. You know, they just are hoping and are praying. And I'm telling you, as long as you're hoping and are praying, you will die hoping and are praying. Because hope does not move God. But when you add your faith to your hope, then your faith will make your hope tangible. Your faith will make your hope touchable. Your faith will make that healing real. Then we talked about how faith is the proof of the unseen. Pastor George, how do I know that healing exists? How do I know that my husband exists? How do I know that my destiny exists? Because I have proof. In the word of God. And his word says that he was bruised for my iniquities. The chastisement of my peace was upon him. And by his stripes, I am healed. I have proof in the word of God that if I follow him, he'll never leave me nor forsake me. I have proof in the word of God that he that findeth a way, findeth a good thing, and find favor with the Lord. I have proof. Of the unseen. So if your thing is not existing yet, the thing that you want, you got to find some proof in the word of God. And once you find the proof, then you can hold your faith to the proof until the evidence shows up. That's faith. The third dynamic of faith we talked about was believing is not enough. People always get quiet when I say that because that's the definition of faith. It says you have to believe. But when you talk about Bible faith, Bible faith goes beyond just believing. Bible faith says I have to act and move in what I believe. Pastor George proved that with scripture. He says, don't be just hearers only. But you got to do the word. He says, faith without your works is dead. So you got to add some action to what you believe in. I can tell you what you believe in just by watching your life. Amen. You have a whole lot of believers that think that they're in faith. In actuality, they're in denial. You have a whole lot of believers that think they're in faith, and what they're actually in is deception. Yes. Pastor George, I want a business, but you ain't got none of your friends that own a business. You haven't read a business book. But all of a sudden, I just want God to birth the business. The devil is a liar. You got to start speaking that thing. And as you start speaking that thing, you got to align relationship so that thing will come forth. Amen. Hallelujah. Come on. And the fourth thing that we talked about last night, and this was awesome, God moved in an awesome way, is that there will never be a death experience without life running parallel to it. There will never be a death experience without life running next to it. The Bible says, I set before you blessings and curses. I set before you life and death. But you got to do what? Choose life.
Huh? Yes.
So that you and your seed may live. And then we talked about how Satan will begin to whisper to you and tell you that you're going to be humiliated. And I begin to deal with humiliation and how you can oftentimes be humiliated out of something that is not your fault.
Amen. Amen.
It wasn't their fault that they ran out of wine.
That's right.
Yeah, I was about to throw y'all rocks at me last night, but I said, the Bible says that Mary came and Jesus was invited. It didn't say nothing about the disciples. But when Jesus showed up,
come on with it.
He brought 12 other folks with him.
Yeah.
We ain't had that in the budget. And then you got Peter. Peter got 2 cups. Judas was trying to take a to-go cup. For Judas. Yeah. I'm going to give me a to-go cup. Yeah. You know how they were. And Down Thomas, he never got his cup empty. Every time he got halfway, top me up. All 13 of these jokers drinking. Now the couple sitting there saying, man. Yeah. We ain't got nothing else left. Yeah. And then I begin to talk about how the whispers in your life, when they look at your life, and it seems like the things that you're going through is not going to begin to manifest, that you hear the voice of Satan tell you, I'm going to humiliate you. I'm going to embarrass you. That's how he was talking to this couple because they ran out of wine. He began to tell them, I'm going to humiliate you. I'm going to embarrass you. I'm going to show the world that you never should have got married. The same way he was talking to that couple is the same way he'll talk to you. He'll tell you your dreams will never come to pass. Your marriage will never make it. I'm going to embarrass you in front of the entire world. I'm going to show you that this thing doesn't really work. But I sat before you, life and death. I sat before you, blessings and good. You got to choose. Mary chose life. She said, whatever he tells you to do, you got to do it. Everybody said, do it. So tonight, we're going to talk about how to unlock the miraculous. Because she turned around and gave a command. She told the disciples, she said, whatever he tells you to do, do it. Because she began to understand that something is about to happen. Yes. And I'm here to prophesy to somebody tonight that's been going through hell and high water, and it seems like everything is running out, and Satan has been beginning to tell you that it's not going to make it. You're never going to win. I'm here to tell you, whatever the man of God tells you to do it. You got to do it because the miraculous is about to take place. God still works miracles. Yeah. If you don't have a church home, my wife and I, we would love to be your pastors. We only meet once a month right now. We believe in God for more services, but right now we only meet once a month. That's every third Sunday at the La Quinta Inn and Suites in McDonough, Georgia. The address is 100 Mill Road, McDonough, Georgia 30253. Again, that's 100 Mill Road, McDonough, Georgia 30253. We meet at the La Quinta Inn and Suites, and we only meet once a month now at 11 o'clock. I had a young lady walk up to me. She said, you gave a wonderful message and you put it on, but you didn't tell us the time. We meet at 11 o'clock every third Sunday of the month. We meet at 11 o'clock at La Quinta Inn and Suites in McDonough, Georgia. Again, the address is 100 Mill Road, McDonough, Georgia 30253.